Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. Thank you for being here with me. It's a pleasure to be in your presence. I've been licensed as a clinical psychologist to practice in the state of California since 1974. I've been in the profession for over 50 years. I've walked upon the earth well over 80 years. In fact, it's almost 81 next month. It's my intention in presenting this to you to uplift you for now and for the rest of your lives, and to pass this on for you to have a legacy of honor, to pass the knowledge down to your descendants. I have another intention, which is that my words that I speak to you, I'm asking God to help take it more deeply into my own heart so that I may grow even more in the way of honor. So my words are for you, and perhaps even more for me, because I benefit a lot from presenting to you. That's one of the reasons I'm so grateful to be here with you. The title of today's presentation is Be Happy, Don't Be Defensive. The subtitle is Overcoming World Misery. Be happy, don't be defensive, overcoming world misery. We all get defensive about something. I started noticing that I was getting defensive in ways. None of us like to be criticized. We don't hear too much of it. Some of the ways that some of the triggers that can set off our defensiveness are these. It can happen in our intimate relationships in marriage or with your partner, in business, at work. Those are two of the main places. So if somebody, let's say at work, is being micromanaged, it's easy to feel defensive because you feel the message is, hey, he must think I'm an idiot because he keeps telling me every little thing to do. And I've been doing this for 10 years, and he must think I'm an idiot. So we're hearing something really negative, a negative message. Why is he telling me this? I mean, I've been doing this longer than he's been here as my supervisor, just for example. So it's sort of, if we feel defensive, you may want to say something, or if you don't, it goes through your mind. And if he's doing it every day to you, you come home and you feel just belittled, disrespected. So that's one of the ones that can trigger off a defensive reaction. We're going to talk about the best way to do that. Those thoughts will disturb your peace. Those will disturb my peace, your peace, whatever. It can happen from your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your boss, your supervisor. Heck, it could be just one of your coworkers. Another one that could make you feel defensive is if you feel wrongly accused or wrongly criticized. The person said, you know, this deal didn't go through because of what you did. You forgot to give me all the data. I think you said, what do you mean? I gave it to you. In fact, I gave it to you twice, but he or she doesn't remember, or they just want to blame you, whatever it is. So you feel wrongly accused. That can make you want to just say something. Wait a minute, I gave it to you twice, but some people you can say that to. You can try to correct it. Say, no, I did give it to you, really. But some people, can just make the situation worse, especially if they're narcissistic or very prideful. They don't want to hear that they were wrong or what they're saying to you. So there's a way to do this. There's a way to have that conversation. But most importantly, what I'm here to talk to you about is a conversation you're having with yourself. What conversation I get with myself in that situation, being wrongly accused. We didn't make that mistake. So we're feeling criticized, wrongly accused and criticized. It could be real, but sometimes we just might be overly sensitive, and it might not be that real. In either case, to our psyche, we're reacting. Oh no, I didn't do that. How are you saying that to me? You're always picking on me. I'm getting sick and tired. My body goes on. Be happy. Don't get defensive. It's easier said than done. I'm going to tell you ways to do it, ways that I've been teaching myself. And so it's tested on, I always test all the things I bring to others. First, I test it on me. And if it's working, I say, okay, now I'm ready to bring it out. Now, the other one that can make us all defensive is feeling, well, he misunderstood me. He's taking the idea I gave, misunderstanding it, and then criticizing that idea. You go, yeah, that distortion you had, that would be dumb if I said that. But you think, I didn't say that. See, and you may or may not get a chance to clarify that. Or it may come across in a defensive way. It's one thing to say, hey, I didn't say that. What are you doing? I didn't say, you're making an idea look dumb. It is dumb the way you're saying it. That's not what I said. Well, that's them's fighting words because the tone of voice. If you're feeling defensive, it will come across. It'll come across in your tone of voice, your facial expression, and you want to go, and that'll just trigger off a conflict, a fight going on, a verbal fight. Just bad interactions, bad vibes, damage the relationship. But if you're really not having that reaction, you're not getting defensive, you can say, I hear what you're saying, and you're right, but that's not exactly what I said. What I said was this. And then when you're defensive inside, it's gonna be very hard not to be defensive on the outside. So you calm it down, and we're going to talk about ways of doing that. Now, very tied to all that is when you feel disrespected. You feel, how dare him talk to me like that? That's really disrespectful. That tone of voice and criticizing me in front of other people, that's really disrespectful. Now, I'm not saying you should let these things go on and let people mistreat you. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm just talking about that defensiveness inside. It's one thing to say, hey, who are you talking to? You're disrespecting me. What's up? That's one thing, and that sets up that combative situation. The other way is, hey, I'm talking to you respectfully, which is the way I like to treat everybody. And I certainly would appreciate if you talk to me respectfully. I appreciate that. It helps if you can smile while you're doing it. And if you're defensive inside, you won't be able to smile. If you're able to just have that genuine smile with it, it's good. You won't be able to do it if you're inside boiling. It won't be able to happen. Now, the other one that could set you off is you're in a group. It could be at home. It could be in a business. It could be in some group. It could be a religious group. It could be a philosophical. It could be a political group. And every time you bring up an idea, it gets dismissed. I mean, it doesn't get, no one's taking it seriously. So it's tied to being disrespected. You're just being dismissed. What you say, nobody pays any attention to it. Doesn't even seem anybody's listening. So you feel whatever your contribution is, you're just being dismissed, which then sets off, I'm being disrespected. So these are some of the common scenarios that can trigger you, and definitely trigger you, and definitely can trigger me. So we don't want to be doing that because we don't want to be defensive. We want to be happy. When we're defensive inside, and then if it manifests outside, we're not going to be happy. We're not going to be happy that moment, or if we could set up a really conflicted relationship or make a good relationship go sour, or a relationship that's already troubled get worse. And more importantly is when we go home, we're thinking about it that day, that weekend. If it's on a Friday, the whole weekend you're thinking about it. Or you're going on vacation, the whole vacation you're thinking about it, which just proves the point that vacation is not a location, it's a state of mind. If you're in that state of mind of this defensive thing, replaying the situation, he said this, he disrespected me, he misunderstood me, dismissed me, micromanaged me, he accused me, he's always criticizing me, blame. One of the things that drives most people really up the wall is if they feel blamed. Especially wrong, even if you made a mistake, it can be really hard to take hearing the blame. If it's done gently, let's say it's a spouse, they say, I love you so much, but you made this mistake, it bothered me. That's easier to take. But if you're hearing the blame, you're always screwing up. I've told you so many times, don't put the cup on that counter. How many times do I tell you? I have to tell you. I say, put the cup in the dishwasher. I've told you about 20 times. So what are you hearing? Call me stupid. Nobody likes that. But that could be very ruinous. So the whole thing is, how do we overcome getting defensive? So I'm going to give you the tools. It's going to help you a lot. It's helping me a lot. Well, one is the thought, that's one of the laws of honor. It's not about me, nothing personal. It's not about me, nothing personal. Just how that person is. That'll help. It's not about me, nothing personal. I call that one of the laws of honor. The 25 laws of honor, 4 commandments of honor, a bridge, supremacy of honor code. We're not going to go into it all right now. But I'm just going to name what some of these things are, so at least you know it belongs to a larger class of thoughts. Now, a lot of times a person may go into an attack mode and criticize us because they're feeling themselves hurt. They're vulnerable. They don't want to be wrong, because if they're wrong, it means they're stupid. So they just start blaming and accusing and putting it out there on us. They project it onto us. So another thought is, I'll respond more to your vulnerability than your negativity. And if you believe in God as I do, and as many of my people do, God willing, I'll respond more to your vulnerability than your negativity. Because underneath all of that blaming and that negative vibes that are being sent out, underneath it, always vulnerability. The person feels inferior, hurt, neglected, inferior, jealous, overwhelmed. And it comes across. So, God willing, I'll respond more to your vulnerability than to your negativity. Hopefully, I'll respond more to your vulnerability than to your negativity. The reason I stage it that way is, even if you respond to the person's vulnerability, it's very common to also be responding to the negativity. It's not a good thing, but it's human. But the best I found that's doable, at least for me, is I respond more to the vulnerability, some reaction to the negativity. As we grow more and more, perhaps there'll be less and less of that. Now, these are some of the thoughts that will help in there. Now, I wrote a little poem to get at some of this, because I'm going to take you to what I call the hybrid next, something new. The urge to goodness is a divine spark fanned into a great flame by pain and suffering. Okay, the urge to goodness is a divine spark fanned into a great flame by pain and suffering. What pain and suffering are we talking about? We're taking the defensiveness. I feel wrongly accused. I feel misjudged. I feel dismissed. I feel disrespected, misunderstood, micromanaged. That's pain. That's suffering. Those thoughts and those feelings, that tears us up. That disturbs our peace. That damages our health to be running that inside of ourselves, perseverating on it. For this pain and suffering is also the source of resentment, anger, rage, and desire for revenge at those we feel caused it. So that pain and suffering, it could also cause not only to fan the flame of the divine spark to go into to be flamed up, it can also cause anger and pain, resentment, desire for revenge. You want to see something nasty back. Only the light of goodness could illumine this darkness. Only the light of goodness can illumine this darkness. So we're talking about the way of honor, which is a very high form of goodness, a light to illumine that. Because let me tell you, when you and I are getting into that inner defensive thing, that inner tone inside, those defensive thoughts, it's a darkness, absolute darkness. A veil comes over our eyes. There's a look. Anybody know this well could see the look. And it's like a cloud that people see. And we might think nobody's noticing it, but it can be seen and certainly be felt. Now, so what I'm going to tell you is that the bad news is you're going to get set off. You've been set off in the past into these defensiveness. You're being set off now, and you will in the future. But we can deal honorably with it. We don't have to be consumed in it. We can maintain our harmony, our peace, our happiness pretty quickly. It doesn't have to go on too long that we're torn up. But you have to be really sincere in applying these principles. And I'm going to give you the hybrid. Now, I'm going to talk about 2 ways for those that believe in God and those that don't. So I'm going to do both ways. So believers and non-believers have a tool to deal with this. First thing I want to tell you that these trials, let's call these trials and tribulations, these blamings, wrong accusations, being criticized, misunderstood, disrespected, dismissed, micromanaged. These are trials and tribulations. And of course, the way we're responding is the biggest trial and tribulation, our response to it. I'm not going to talk about how to deal with the person right now. I'm talking today about mostly how to deal with ourselves. So here's the thought for believers. I call it a hybrid because it's a combination of two thoughts. One commandment of honor is, God, your wish is my only wish. And the other commandment of honor, and I call that the mother of all commandments, since they all derive from that. Then there's what I call the warrior's commandment of honor, which is, I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship. So, God, your wish is my only wish. You can just use that straight to deal with it. Another one straight, I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship, so I'm hoping to gain power. But I'm going to give you what I call a hybrid, where we're combining that. And I've been working and experimenting on this, so now I'm about to announce it publicly, my discovery. Get this. God, I'm extremely grateful for the trials and tribulations you send me that bring me close to you. God, I'm extremely grateful for the trials and tribulations you send me that bring me closer to you. I don't speak Spanish. I really wish I did. I love the language. I can say this in Spanish. Most people who speak Spanish don't know what I'm saying because it's really bad pronunciation on my part, but some catch it. Dios te ahorca, pero no te mata. Dios te ahorca, pero no te mata. God chokes you, but not to kill you. So he's waking you up and bringing you to him. So for believers, you can think, this is a great thing. I'm grateful for these trials and tribulations that bring me closer to you. I can't tell you how powerful that is. I'm extremely grateful for the trials and tribulations you send me that will bring me closer to you. It's always given to us by God to help us go beyond our lower nature into our divine nature, into our higher nature, into our honor nature. It's a gift. Outwardly, it looks like fire and vengeance. We're going through this thing. Oh my God. But inwardly, it's mercy and light. Now, one of the derivatives, I call it derivative, is God willing, I'll come back much stronger than ever, or I'll come back much stronger than ever, or hopefully I'll come back much stronger than ever. That's a derivative of the warrior's commandment of honor. Warrior's commandment of honor being, I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship. So one derivative is, God willing, I'll come back much stronger than ever. So you're going through this thing, you say, this guy's always doing it, disrespecting me, dismissing me, micromanaging me, wrongly judging me, accusing me, blaming me. God will not come back much stronger than ever. God, I'm extremely grateful for the trials and tribulations you send me that bring me closer to you. Now, if you don't believe in God, you go, hopefully these trials and tribulations will bring me to a higher level of consciousness. Hopefully these trials and tribulations will release a greater potential for goodness in me. Basically going beyond our ego, beyond our lower nature, our animal nature, into our higher nature, divine nature. Now, in doing this, the person that micromanages us or is disrespectful, misunderstands us, or disregards what we're saying, or just dismisses us, dismisses what we're saying, well, that's their loss. If we have a good idea, they're missing out on that. If they're going into these false accusations, wrongly accusing us, or being overly critical or blaming us, that poor person is damaging themselves. I'm telling you, that blamer is destroying himself or herself. They don't know it, they're destroying themselves. You feel destroyed by it, but no, they're destroying themselves. Once you know how not to get, once I know how not to be defensive inside, you say, oh my God, this poor woman or this poor man is killing himself with this blame. Oh my God. So you have a number of tools. One often that could work for many of us is, hey, it's nothing personal. It's not about me. This guy's just a blamer. You have people that just blame everybody. Most people just see what the problem is and where is it. It's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. You don't take responsibility for going there. Now, the key is that we don't become the one doing that to others. The key is that we don't come to start doing that to others. One of the main protections we have there is one of the commandments of honor is this. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. That keeps us from just putting it out there. That person might be guilty of initiating it, be totally wrong in what they said, whatever they've done. But once we stop blaming and criticizing and micromanaging and dismissing the person, we're co-creating it. We can say, I take full responsibility. I'm co-creating this. That gives me power. Because I'm co-creating it, I can uncro-create. I can co-create something better, something more positive, something more loving, something more honorable. Now, another way of dealing with this, and these are suffering. They're dealing with these wrongful accusations, being misjudged, misunderstood, dismissed, micromanaged, blamed. That's really, it's going on throughout the world. That's why I call it, the subtitle is Overcoming World Misery. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it. Now, sometimes, a lot of times it's real, it's really being done. But look at the cases when it's not personal, it's not really being done. I'm an expert on road rage. One of the biggest causes of road rage is somebody's cutting you off. People take it personally. Oh my God, that son of a gun, he's cutting me off. He could have killed me, could have killed my kids. I better teach that son of a gun a lesson. Pull up beside him, beat you, make obscene gestures, scream at him. It cause an accident. In fact, we have 29,000 deaths. 2/3 of all deaths on the roads are due to aggressive driving. There wasn't even personal. The guy was just trying to get position in another lane, or he's got to get somewhere quickly. He wasn't trying to disrespect you or disrespect me. But they're the person. So here's a case where somebody really feels disrespected, goes into a rage, and that's one of the main causes of angry driving on the road, is feeling endangered. Well, people are taking it personally. When people do it to me, I just feel you made a mistake. I go, well, I'm always making mistakes. God knows how many people I've cut off. Some people got really angry on the road. I made a mistake. So, but over 53% of Americans really express that anger to other drivers 2 or more times a year. And by the way, it doesn't matter what age they are, doesn't matter whether they're a judge or a gangbanger, doesn't matter whether they're a doctor or never finished 2nd grade. None of those are factors. The main, and if they're rich or poor, doesn't matter, same percentage. The main variable is parenting. If the parents were road rages, a higher probability that the children will be. It goes like this. The child learns, well, you want to turn right, you put the right signal on. You want to turn left, you put the left signal on. Somebody cuts you off, you flip them off. You beep your horn, you flip them off. You flick the lights up and down, you curse at them. That's what you do. The child grows up thinking that's normal. So anyway, so it's taken personally in that way. But the other way of dealing with these trials and tribulation is this. What's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem? That's one of the derivatives of the warrior's commandment of honor. What's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem? Well, this person's criticized me, misjudged me. But you know what? It's forcing me to turn to God more. It's forcing me to turn to my commandments of honor more. It's forcing me to reach into the higher principles more. This person's helping me grow. Now, so that's the inner growth. Certainly, we need to, then sometimes we have to have a conversation with somebody, and the less defensive we are, the more calm we are and rational we can then be. We say, hey, I appreciate if you talk this way, or, I really didn't do it that way. I did it this way. Just want you to know that, just so you know. Or, hey, I talk to you respectfully. I appreciate if you talk to me respectfully. So there's a time to set that up. Now, if it continues to go on, there may have to be a complaint, a grievance filed, or whatever. I mean, you have to take steps. We don't want to keep letting it go on. At some point, we do something to try to deal with the person. But we just around that person once in a while. we're always with ourselves. The main issue I've been focusing on today is to deal with our own defensive reactions, because be happy, don't be defensive. Overcoming world misery. I'm telling you, the misery of the world is tremendously caused, at least 50% of misery throughout the world is related to this blaming, wrong judging, disrespect. It's just massive throughout the whole planet. It's nothing new. It's not like people become more disrespectful than ever. It's been there from the beginning, since there was society. And the way of honor is a way to bring more civility, more brotherhood and sisterhood into the world in a really practical way. So I'm going to open it up. It's been really my pleasure to bring this to you, share with you my cutting-edge inner research that I'm doing in the hopes of reaching you and in the hopes of my own words reaching me. Okay, I'm going to open it up and get comments. Tracy, anything that you want to ask or say?
Yes, I was thinking about when you said it's not about me, don't take it personally. And I noticed that this does happen with new management mostly.
It happens with whom?
New management.
Oh, new management. Huge issue. New management comes in, they're trying to prove they know what they're doing, and they make all kinds of wrong moves. Absolutely happens a lot. Exactly true.
But sometimes if there's group meetings, other people can recognize that the new management is, kind of honing in on one person in particular. And when other people recognize that, I think it makes it more difficult to not take it personally.
Well, let's put it this way. Very good point, Tracy. It's very hard for many of us to not take it personally, period. Whatever the situation, it's hard not to. That's why I have these other tools. To me, the strongest one is, God, I'm extremely grateful for the trials and tribulation you'll send me that bring me closer to you. For me, that's personally the one that takes me the furthest. That's the one for me. The one, it's not about me, nothing personal, helps, but this one, what I call the hybrid, to me is the most powerful. Good point, as always, Tracy.
I really like what you said when you said, God showed you, but not to kill you.
Oh, God chokes you, but not to kill you. Yeah. I don't know how many understood my Spanish, but once in a while somebody does. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, when I tell them that, they say, yeah, my mother, who grew up in Mexico, always used to say that. Yeah. God chokes you, but not to.
Really good. I think it's a really good truth, because God does reveal things to us, and it's up to us if we want to continue to entertain or put ourselves in the way of abuse of any kind.
Well, there's 2 points to that. There's one, putting ourselves in the way of abuse, remaining in that situation, that job, that relationship, whatever. It's not always easy to walk away from the job or the relationship. There might be more pluses than negatives. Or a person might just feel trapped at the time. So that's why I have focused on but the thing that we all need to deal with is our own reactions, our own defensiveness. So what I've been mostly focusing on is giving tools to you and to me to apply it in a situation, so our own peace and harmony, and to minimize the disturbance of our own peace, harmony, and happiness. That's doable. In terms of changing the situation, reaching the other person in communication, that may or may not be doable. But reaching ourselves, we've got a good shot at that. That's why I focused on giving us tools for that. That's why I introduced today the hybrid. Made this grand opening today of the hybrid. I've been using it. I love it. It's helped me enormously in my own personal life. You still get a reaction. It's like, when I do it, then I'm finding myself responding a lot more rationally, a lot more kindly. Um, I'm committed to this path. Thanks, Gracie. Well, it's been my pleasure, my privilege to be able to present to you and present to myself. Be happy, don't be defensive, overcoming world misery.